This is Connell O'Donovan with the Utah Queer Historical Society on November 20th, 2019 with Walter Larrabee. What is your full legal name?
Walter Eddie Larrabee.
How do you spell Eddie?
E-D-D-Y.
And Larrabee?
L-A-R-R-A-B-E-E.
Okay. And what name do you go by?
Walter.
Okay. And Walt? Do you? Because I'm Walt.
I'm Uncle Walt.
Okay.
But you can call me. I used to go by Walt years ago.
Do you have any nicknames? Booba Bear?
No. Well, Wawa.
Wow. Oh.
Eddie calls me Wawa, and several of other friends call me Wawa.
Okay. What are your pronouns? He, him?
He, him, her. No, he, him. He, him, it. Yes.
Okay. And how do you identify in our beautiful LGBTIQ rainbow?
I believe that I am a gay man.
Okay.
Which is open to change if need be.
I love that. What is your father's full name? Your biological father's.
Hi, Michelle.
Sorry.
Can we have a moment?
Oh, sorry. Yep, sorry.
Thank you, Ever. Wallace Eddie Larrabee.
Okay. And your mother's full legal name?
Merla Jane Funk.
Okay. And you have a stepfather, right?
I do.
Thorne Cobb?
Well, yes, that was my mother's second husband.
Oh, okay.
And he passed away maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And Mom is married now to another gentleman named John, who is a wonderful man and very happy. And yes.
And Cobb's name was James Thornton?
James Thornton Cobb.
Yes. We know, huh?
Yes, we've talked about this, yes.
What's your birth date?
April 2nd, 1956.
Almost an April Fool's baby.
Yes, I tell the story that my mother refused to have an April Fool's baby and asked to have her legs tied together until midnight.
Oh, ouch. Where were you born?
I was born in the Holy Cross Hospital on 1st South and 10th East in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is now called the Intermountain Something Center.
Okay. How many siblings do you have?
There were 5 children raised in my home.
Okay. And what are their names?
Lois.
Do descend?
Yes, and then Walter, Richard, who went by Dick, and LeGrand, and Bonnie was the baby.
Such Mormon names.
Are they? Okay.
Well, especially LeGrand.
Well, yes, of course, LeGrand. And I think, yes.
Okay. Have you ever been married, legally married?
No.
Okay. Any children that you know of?
No, I can definitely say not.
Okay. Where did you go to high school?
I spent 1.5 years at Granite High School and 1.5 years at Brighton.
Both here in the Salt Lake Valley?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Did you go to college at all anywhere? Or?
I went to about 6 years of college in about 3 or 4 different schools.
Did you get a degree?
I have an associate of theater arts
from
Rick's College in Rexburg, Idaho, which is now BYU, Idaho.
Right. Do you have a bachelor's?
I do not.
You don't, okay.
I have enough credits for one, but not enough.
I understand. Yes. I do too. I have enough credits, but I don't have a bachelor's degree.
Yes.
That's it for. So, welcome everyone. This is the November oratory for the Utah Queer Historical Society. I'm Connell O'Donovan, chair of the Education Committee of the Historical Society. This is Terry Gilman, our lovely secretary. Becky Moss is on my committee and helps out with these oratories. Thank you. I'm glad you could make it. And Rich Kane, thank you for being our videographer. Anybody else here from? Nope, I don't see anyone. Our former chair, Ben Williams. Donations are welcome. There's a little bowl here. To help further the goals and mission of the Historical Society, which is to objectively compile, organize, and safeguard the history of the LGBTIQ+ community of Utah and to share this history within our community and with the general public. Today is the Transgender Day of Remembrance. So this evening we're going to remember the 22 transgender people who were murdered in the United States during the past year, all of whom were women of color. And Stephanie is going to read those 22 names for us.
Thank you. I'll try not to butcher them too much, but the 22 names, we're going to start with Brianna Hill, Italy Marlowe, Jalea Jamar, Beloved Slater, Bailey Reeves, Tracy Single, Bubba Walker, Pebbles Ladando, Kiki Fantroy, Denali Berries Stuckey, Brooklyn Lindsay, Zoe Spears, I think this is Chanel Skurlock, and Chai Now Lindsay, Paris Cameron, Michelle Tamika Washington, Malaysia Booker, Claire Legato, Ashante Cameron, Carmon, Jazeline Ware, Dana Martin, and Keena Mattel. Those are the 22 that
If
passed.
we could just have a moment of silence for a minute to remember these folks and keep them in our hearts. May they rest in power. Walter Larrabee. What can I say? The man, the drag queen, the legend. I'm going to a couple of stories about Walter, sorry. Wawa. As the, he and I were in the 1980 cast of Promised Valley. This really awful musical about the Mormon pioneers coming into the Salt Lake Valley. It's all completely mythology, and very little of it was historically accurate, but it was a lot of fun. And so we did that for 2 months, the summer of 1980, and what a joy Walter was. Walter's never been in the closet. I was deeply closeted at the time, but I loved hanging out with him. My favorite memory, and I don't know why this is stuck in my head and my heart so much, but it's one night after rehearsal, pouring rain. We get into Walter's tiny little VW Bug with the little windshield wipers in this drenching rain, and we dragged State Street. Back when dragging State Street was the thing everybody did, and we were dragging State Street listening to Funky Town at ear-splitting levels. And that moment is just seared in my brain as one of the great fun memories. You know, my little fairy heart spoke to his big fairy heart, and you know, so we knew, but you know, yeah, we just really connected. Walter has seriously one of the biggest hearts I've ever encountered in my life, and you've influenced me greatly on several occasions, and including around a certain campfire recently, helping me to deal with my anger and disappointment over my mother. He was just really broke that open for me, and I really appreciate that. Actor, singer, dancer, Carol Channing impersonator, who I just love. What else is on your resume?
Madam. You can't forget Madam.
You were a madam of a brothel?
Oh, the other one.
When in Flowers and Madam.
Those are nice.
And also the 2009 recipient of the Dr. Kristen Reese Award for Community Service here, which is an amazing honor. without further ado, Walter Larrabee.
Let me just say, welcome. And first and foremost, that I love each of you unconditionally. For there is nothing but love in my heart and in my soul anymore. And I wish the same for all of you. So, backing up to Promise Valley, I did that for 4 years, 4 summers I did Promise Valley. And I started as a dancer, right out of high school. We'll do our first little. My high school graduation picture. So right out of high school, I went down to a Promise Valley rehearsal because my sister was in the show for 7 years prior to that. And the choreographer, I had met him that night, and he said, "You dance?" I said, "Well, sure." He said, "Come tomorrow." Told me a time, and I went, and he put me through a few little things, and I got in the show. I had never danced in my life except for in row shows.
But what year
That was in 1974. I graduated in 1974 from Brighton High School. So I did Promise Valley for the summer, and then went on to BYU in Provo, Utah. And that was my coming out process at Brigham Young University. And I didn't have the opportunity to talk to my parents about it, because a gentleman, I use that term a little loosely when I say that, an employee of the BYU called my father over Christmas holidays and said, "We're investigating your son for being involved in homosexual activities." Who then placed a phone call to a friend of his, and another phone call, and finally a phone call came to my mother. And then my mom called me at work. I worked for Dee's Drive-In during high school, and still work for them. So I said, "Can we talk about this when I get home tonight?" I didn't want to talk about it on the phone. I wanted to be able to talk to my parents calmly, rationally, proud to come out, but I didn't have that opportunity. That was sort of taken from me. But I've made peace with that. It's in the past, I can't change it. So I talked to my mom just a couple of nights ago and told her that I was going to do this, and I said, "Do you remember how you found out that I was gay?" And she had 3 or 4 different thoughts in her mind, and she's 6 months ago told me that she's having problems remembering things. And it's obvious. She's 84 years old, and so I accepted all of her thoughts of when she found out that I was gay. She couldn't remember exactly, but that's all right. We're friends. She loves me and I love her. So, where do I want to go? Part of my story was I love an audience. I love being on stage and entertaining people. I can't say that I'm the greatest singer in the world. I can't say that I'm the greatest dancer, but I do try. And if I was on Dancing with the Stars, I'd still be on the show. So I did. I started voice lessons right out of high school because I wanted to sing and be on stage. And after 4 or 5 years of voice lessons, I got my first job paid in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I did Fiddler on the Roof, Motto the Tailor. 7 nights a week from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Wow.
Not a night off. 7 nights a week. And that's where I met Barry Payne. We came back to Salt Lake and did the show again at the Old South High School on their
Jackson Hole
stage.
players on tour.
Yes. Glenn Sakis taught up at Brighton High School and also at Jordan High, played Tevye. He was sort of well known. Anyway, so we moved to Los Angeles to get some more experience of life. Came back to Salt Lake after 3 months. That's when I met Connell in 1980. I moved down there in 79 and came back in 80. Continued doing shows. I was aware of the court. I attended step down for the 5th reign, the 6th reign, 7th reign. I wasn't around when Pepper stepped down. Couldn't be there. I had met a fellow, a man, on New Year's Eve. I want to say 1981. And we pretended we were lesbians. And 6 weeks later, we signed papers on a home.
Yeah.
That's what lesbians do, so I've been told. I can't attest to that, having never been there. But that's what I was told. They move in together right away. Well, we bought a house. And after 2 years, it was like, this isn't going to work. So I auditioned for another show up in Island Park area of Idaho. Got in and left for the summer and started getting alimony checks, payment back for the house. And then met some other actors. They were all going to school up at Rick's College the next year. I thought, why not? So I continued my education at Rick's. Spent 2 years there. I did my best not to get in trouble. And graduated with a associate degree, theater arts. Then came back to Salt Lake. Continued in theater. And then I moved to Los Angeles again. And this time I got into a comedy camp drag group called the Campers. Performed at Oil Can Harry's for 20 years. I was there for a year and a half. And then they went over to the back lot.
What year was that, when you were at Oil Can Harry's?
It was 86, 87? Yes. You been there?
Oh, yes.
Oil Can Harry's was a very, very popular club in Los Angeles.
It's still there.
It's still there. Oil Can Harry's? Oh, okay. I haven't been there for a while. So, after a year and a half with the Campers, I came back to Salt Lake because I got a job to choreograph another show in the Murray Amphitheater. Came back to do that and decided I was going to stay in Salt Lake again. And that's when I started the Slip-Ups, a comedy campy group. And one of the original Slip-Ups is actually here in our audience tonight.
Well, you.
Well, but he's not in this photo, however. But he is in the other photo here, David. And this is the Slip-Ups in front of the Sun Tavern.
Oh my God.
The Sun Tavern is now gone. Got hit by the tornado. We can pass this around and whatnot. Anyway, so the...
Can you tell us who the other slip-ups were?
Sure.
Can you out them?
This is... Oh, I don't out people. That is one thing that goes against my moral compass. I just do not out people. About a year ago, somebody got in touch with me. They'd been married, had children, all of the, They said, now will you tell your family? It's like, that's not my place. If you want my family to know, then you need to tell them.
Yeah.
It's not my place to out people. But if you want me to, I will. I'll do that. I won't. This is Don Glenn, Christopher Strong, this is Walter here, and Garth Snyder.
Garth! Oh my goodness!
Ruby Slippers. Ruby Slippers.
Oh my goodness, goddess.
Yes. Anyway, so the slip-ups were together for 3.5 years. And all of a sudden I just decided that the gay community in Salt Lake had supported the slip-ups so well, and especially the court people, the people in the court, I felt connected with the slip-ups. And I decided that I was going to do something to give back to the court. And so I decided to run for Empress. I had been in pageants, but I wasn't a pretty queen, as they are so called, as they are. I was a campy queen. I liked comedy. I wasn't trying to be a woman. I thought about taking hormones for about 2 seconds. And so I campaigned to be Empress. 18, and there's maybe one in there for everybody, so take a pen if you want.
Definitely.
Walter, Empress 18. That was my campaign. So you now have one if you want.
And what year was that?
That was in 1993.
Connell, you giving that one to Daniel?
This is mine. No,
Oh,
I'll,
here.
I'll
I have
just,
it. I've got one. I've got 10 of them.
Okay.
Take that.
got an extra one.
Um,
Do you want one? Okay.
so my year in the court as Empress was very, very fulfilling. I loved it. There were 5 gentlemen that we worked very closely with. Marshall Bruner, Peter Christie,
Oh,
Ralph Currington III, a.k.a. Shanika, and Scott, I'll find his name. Stephanie's, Jeff Smith was president of the board. The 5 of us worked very closely together. People knew not to call each other on Monday nights. That was our night off. We didn't bother each other on Monday nights. But other than that, we spent about every night together doing something for 365 days. That was my involvement in the court. And it was so different because everything changes and everything is different from year to year. And so I can't compare it and say it was the best, but for me it was a great year. And I brought something to show tonight. This is the opening of Act 2 of my step down.
Katie?
A Day in Neverland.
I'll let you do.
And you can see the opening of Act 2, and then we'll go from there.
Wow, it's in color.
Your reigning prince and princess royale. Prince Royale 18, Peter Christie. Princess Royale 18, Shanika.
That ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Most Imperial Majesty, the 18th reigning Emperor of all Utah, the Gauntlet Emperor, Marshal Bruner.
Who's the swiniest swine in the world? Who's the dirtiest dog in this wonderful world?
Oh my God. It needs more sequence.
Eager to kill any who says that his book isn't cute. It's cute!
Ladies and gentlemen, the unforgettable Empress, Empress 18, Walter.
I can sing soprano if I need to.
I just remember after when we were doing Fiddler on the Roof, and you and me and Mike and Bonnie all went out dressed up, and you went out as Peter Pan. And we were in a bar, and Walter won first place as Robin Hood.
It was made out of a Girl Scout green uniform. Yes.
Another part of queer Utah history, the woman that's in the very center back there, with the shorter hair in men's clothing, that's Maude Adams, the famous actress.
The first Peter Pan.
She's the very first Peter Pan on Broadway, and she's a lesbian from Salt Lake City, and yeah.
Oh, I didn't know all that.
Yeah.
I knew she was the first Peter Pan.
Yeah.
All right then. So that was second act. of my step down. It was a very exciting night. Shanika's outfit, I made.
All those feathers. Whoa.
Yes, so all of it. You know. Marshall Bruner made his own. He was a drag queen at heart. I don't know where to go right now. Any questions?
Who's the crocodile?
Who was the crocodile? I don't even remember. I don't know.
When did you start doing Carol Channing?
Oh, well, let's move into that. Well, 1979, I think 79, 80. We drove to Reno, Nevada to see Carol Channing perform in Hello Dolly, the first time I went to see Carol Channing live. I'd seen her in Thoroughly Modern Millie, I'd seen her on Laugh-In. I thought, Carol Channing was just fabulous. Yes, I did. Oh, she was just wonderful. Anyway, so we got 6 of us in a little car, and we drove, or 5 of us, and we drove to Reno and saw Carol Channing in Hello Dolly. Drove back to Salt Lake, dropped somebody off, kept on driving up to Jackson Hole to start rehearsals for Fiddler on the Roof the very next Monday. We had 1 weekend or 3 days to do all of that, but it was worth it. It was very well worth it.
And you were younger.
Yeah.
And I didn't do any of the driving. We let Bonnie and her name, her
Dinky?
sister, her sister.
Oh, Leanne.
Leanne. Bonnie and Leanne did all the driving. 2 girls from Boise, Idaho. They did all the driving. It was my car, so I let them drive. So, I had toyed with Carol Channing for several years. I'd, impersonated her voice and all. And somebody along the way liked what I did, and they hired me. So, we have to back up and go just 1 minute. Boys to Women. Right after I stepped down as Empress, we started Boys to Women, and we performed every Wednesday night at Rascals, 39th South, 9th East, for 4 years. And I wanted to go to a straight club to get a very different kind of an audience, because I wanted the straight people that had never seen drag to be able to come and feel comfortable and see a show of some good quality. It wasn't just it wasn't a drag show that you're going to see. It was a show. And we did it for 4 years. Shanika, Veronica, Michaela, and myself. And then things changed and we had a couple. And then Bridget came in, stepped in, and I got a job offer to go to Biloxi, Mississippi to do a show. 6 nights a week, 2 shows a night. So I took it. They liked what I did with Carol Channing. So I did. Where should I start? This is Carol Channing standing next to Betty White, and this is me at the bottom. April 2nd, 1993, my birthday, I went to Abravanel Hall, and Carol Channing performed with the Utah Symphony for 2 hours. And I sat with Marcy Malloy, Chip, right next to me on the front row. Carol Channing was right there. And this is the night that I met Carol Channing. Oh. I had hair. I have a couple of others.
Did she know that you impersonated her?
Not at that time.
Oh, okay.
No, not at that time. So I did Biloxi, Mississippi for 9 months. And then came back to Salt Lake. Boys to Women was still going on. Michelle was running the spotlight. Michelle took over as the money person in charge of the money. So Michelle, I have to say thank you for keeping Boys to Women going. One of the reasons that I kept going. And went on for maybe a year-ish, maybe longer. And then I got a job offer to go up to Lake Tahoe. So I went. And that's when I started, well, continued my experiences with other people. But one night after the show, Hunter wanted to, we call it paint your face. That's putting your makeup on. You're going to paint your face. So Hunter painted my makeup, painted my face, and put a wig on me. And that's the first time I ever felt pretty.
Oh. Damn. Oh my goodness.
This is our program. This is Hunter on the front.
Oh.
And this is me here. It doesn't look like me. I have to tell people who it is. This is our program from Tahoe.
Is that the yellow dress that I've worn?
That is the yellow cape. That you bought, yes. You bought. Tahoe went on for 4 years. 6 nights a week, 2 shows a night. And I love performing. The worst part about it was I had to put makeup on twice a night. Because I would end the show with a song called I Am What I Am. Come out, full outfit, sit down at the makeup table and take all the makeup off, put on a tuxedo, and end the show. And then I had 45 minutes to put the makeup back on and start the next show. That was the worst part of it. But I would do it again, if I had the energy. That's all right. Life goes on. The last job I was working at was in Copycats in Palm Springs. And this is another Carol Channing. And this time Carol Channing had known that I was doing her. I'd seen her, so I've seen Carol 7 times performing live. I can't say that this is my best photo, but it's one I'm proud of. In Tahoe, they wanted a photo done, and so they asked me to come and do it. So I spent 2 hours getting ready, and they were going to do a glamour shot. That's like the one picture of when I felt pretty. Glamour shot is when you want to do your best makeup. So I spent time with the photographer. He was taking pictures while I was getting my makeup on. And then I got all ready, and he said, "Oh, I changed my mind. I want to do a Carol Channing." And I said, "I'm not painted as Carol Channing." He said, "Oh, well, we'll fake it." I said, "No, you can't fake Carol Channing. I have to start over." He said, "We don't have time." So it's the day I say, I got screwed and I didn't enjoy it. He let me change my lips. I did my nose differently. And this appeared in the paper as Carol Channing. Hello, Wally.
Oh, I like that.
And Carol's favorite or best show known for was Hello, Dolly. For those of you that don't know Carol's history. So, Carol did Hello, Dolly, over 6,000 performances all around the world. From 1964 until 1990-ish. She died last January, 3 weeks short of her 97th birthday. Just a bit of trivia. Um, let's see. "11 years ago, I was in Palm Springs and just wasn't feeling my best. So I went to a doctor. And I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. And 6 months later, I was too sick to even go to work. So I spent a month in the hospital in Palm Springs, getting sicker, going downhill. Endocarditis, if any of you are medical people, that's a infection of the heart. Lots of things were going on with my system. And my parents decided to bring me back to Salt Lake City. And the doctors said, if you take him out of the hospital, he will die on the way home. 9 months later, I was healthy enough to have a stem cell transplant. And 11 years later, I stand here healthy, a little different, kinder of heart. I have learned to forgive and to love everybody, including the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Oh my goodness.
You are a saint.
I may not agree with him. I don't have to like his policies and all about things. You know, I just have to love. That's what I'm asked to do. Seven years ago, I spoke with my oncologist about the chemo pills that they were asking me to take. It's thalidomide. They were giving it to women for morning sickness back in the 60s. It was causing children to be born without arms and legs. And I said, if that's what it did to embryos, what is it doing to my system? And so 7 years ago, I quit taking it. It's saving the government $6,000 a month. That's how much it costs. I'd rather not take it and be healthy and happy than to risk the side effects. All is well, 11 years later. Throughout life, I have learned that happiness is a choice. One can choose to be happy through anything, or one can be miserable. I choose to be happy. Other people can add to that happiness. Other situations can add to that happiness, but I alone am responsible for my own happiness, as I believe each of us are.
Did you want to play the other clip?
Oh, yes. I do have one clip here of me performing as Carol. This was in Tahoe. I always think that it's best to see someone perform live rather than watch the video, but you know, you can.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no.
I was wondering if you would sing "I Am What I Am" for us. Is that too much to ask? Or?
Oh, that's not Carol at all.
It's Walter.
Hello.
Well, it is, but it is. Go ahead.
Which one would you like?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't. It's this here.
It's in the.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you much. Oh, a side note. I did Shirley MacLaine for a while I was in Tahoe and in Palm Springs. And this was the Youth of Salt Lake magazine. We Shirley MacLaine.
Bobbles, Bangles, and Beards. Oh my. Bobbles, Bangles,
Yes.
and Beards. Oh my.
This is the cast of Boys to Women. There's several photos in there. Veronica wasn't there that day, and so they at the last minute had me painted as Marilyn Monroe on the next page over. I
Oh
don't,
wow.
you know,
Damn.
I didn't do the makeup.
I know that.
Somebody else did it for me. And Marilyn has blue eyes, I believe, and they did them as brown. But what do they know? What do I know?
Anyway, your Shirley MacLaine outfit looks like when you used to do Lucy from the Lucy Show, the Claymation.
Huh?
You don't remember that at the back street? When you do Lucille Ball?
I didn't do Lucy ever.
did.
I never did Lucy.
I've got the tape to prove it.
No.
Is it not working?
No, for some reason. Hold on 1 second. Let's watch this.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't.
No, I
Where's my?
How did you develop that routine you used to do on a pogo stick?
Oh, the pogo stick. You know, that was one of my favorite ever performances.
Well, tell us about it.
I did it. The intro was an announcer. Welcome to the Miss America pageant. Our next contestant in the talent category is Miss Walla Walla from Walla Walla, Washington, singing Sempre Libre from La Traviata. And so the music would start, and I would come out in this long cape, and I was lip syncing to La Traviata. And then 35, 40 seconds into it, I'd start bouncing because the pogo stick was hidden under the cape. And I would just start bouncing on stage. And then the cape would come off. And it would be in a little like majorette uniform. And then I added on, when I was in Biloxi, Mississippi, they said, well, we need to add spices up and do something different. So we added some bouncing tits. So I'd undo the majorette uniform and the tits would fall out. And they would start bouncing all over. So I did La Traviata on a pogo stick.
With flopping titties.
Yes. And one night at King's, do you remember the bar King's? They'd put in a brand new stage.
Where's King's?
Used to be where the back street was.
Oh,
108.
okay.
Yeah, King's. They put a new flooring on the stage, and we did a show that night. And I was doing the pogo stick number, and all of a sudden, bouncing, stopped. I'd gone through the stage. I pulled it out, and started doing it again. Bouncing. Stop. The next day, they put a thicker stage on.
Is it not going to work?
Nope, I got it too.
Okay.
Oh, the pogo stick was something I did as a child to help take care of my boredom, and I used to do it for hours at a time, around the block. I broke 3 or 4 pogo
Is there no
sticks.
sound?
Not on this one.
Is
There is no, there should be sound. Oh, maybe once the song starts. This is the intro. I don't know why they did it this way, but
No sound.
something will happen in a minute. Hopefully, it'll keep going. This outfit that Carol is wearing, I made for my step down for Miss Golden Spike when I was Miss Golden Spike in the court. I decided to do a sequin outfit, but I wanted to do it myself because I couldn't afford to buy sequins. So I sewed them on one at a time.
Oh my God.
What a waste! What a waste!
Yeah,
No.
the volume's on.
Well,
May I?
Oh,
thing I remember that's so amazing about you, Walter, is that you could make anything out of anything. And you were begging for material all the time. And when I was living at this one apartment, and the dumps behind me had all this fabric that people were throwing away, and you were with the slip-ups at that time, and I gave you volumes of material, and you were, to me, it was just scraps, and you said, I can make something out of this.
I couldn't afford things, so I had to make them my own. I taught myself how to sew. I sewed many an outfit. but-
Machine or hand?
Both.
Oh,
Yeah. It's all right if it doesn't work. Salt Lake Men's Choir I was a part of for 5 years, 2 different times. Both in the 80s and then recently in the last 10 years when I came back to Salt Lake. But
are you in a hymn?
I'm not in the men's choir anymore.
Okay.
Questions? Yes?
One of my favorite experiences was when we hosted a national conference here in Salt Lake City for the National Folklore Society. And we hired Walter to be our major presenter on the evening when we were all just having fun. And he came out and he did the pogo stick thing that I had forgotten about. It was so funny. Another one of my favorites was he came out and sang "Reach Out and Touch Someone."
That's the one.
That's one of
He had
Pepper's
arms
favorites.
that could reach that
Yes.
wall and that wall. And the people in the audience were just leaning back. And as he was changing clothes for the next act, he was on stage talking to us, putting on the next apparel and everything. It was the most amazing program. And then what I will always remember was at the very end when he invited his mother to come out on stage. Was that truly your mom?
I believe so, yeah.
And she was dressed like a man.
Yeah. And we did Suddenly Seymour
Yes.
from Little Shop of Horrors.
And that brought tears to everyone's eyes. And then at the end of the program, he came out and said a few things at the end and introduced his sister, who was running the lighting for his entire show. And these are folklorists. We like to build tradition and acknowledge people that carry on heritage. And Walter touched everyone. It was really a wonderful experience.
Thank you. I have to say, in all honesty, Reach Out and Touch was not my original. But there's a book called Audition. I can't remember who wrote it, a theater book. And it says, if you find something that works, steal it. and so the campers did Reach Out and Touch. And so I borrowed that from the campers.
How did you get long arms?
You buy them at the store.
It's like a reacher.
It's a what?
It wasn't like a reacher. I remember you did it in the slip-ups too.
Yes,
I
we.
remember
Yeah.
that. Or maybe you had them down.
Yeah, they were behind my back, so to hide, and then they were, Anyway, yeah.
You do Diana Ross.
That was Diana
That
Ross,
was Diana Ross,
yes.
but
I never did blackface.
Yeah, no.
That's yes. I think it was at my birthday party 10 years ago. We held over at Club Jam, which is no longer there, is it? No,
No, it's a
Club Jam.
bike bar.
And I held it there because it was a new bar. It was clean, and I felt like I could invite my conservative family to a place that they wouldn't be embarrassed to go to. And so, while I was there and I was performing, I didn't do face. I just did some big outfits, And, no, I didn't. And I said at that time, Ralph Shanika came and opened the show for me. I have to have an opening number when you're going to perform. And so Shanika put a ring on it. I think it's the number she did. Yeah. And I said throughout the night that I have the same problem as my younger sister. We have black children. My sister has 4 children from black men, and I have 8 she has 8 grandchildren. They're my nieces and nephews, and they live up in Layton. So, anyway, a side note.
Anything else? Anybody
Questions
else? Any other-
about anything?
I'm just kind of curious about the comment that you just made that you never did blackface. Back in those days, were you conscious that it was that inappropriate? Because at that time, I think most people were doing it without even thinking of that.
I never felt the need to do it.
There weren't any black people here to be looking at that.
No.
Just watch this one. Exactly.
Back in the back there.
I remember a couple years ago, so I had a drag show down in Provo.
Oh, yes.
And we invited you to come down and do our Christmas show. And Walter came out and did this beautiful rendition of We Need a Little Christmas. And everyone in the crowd was just so enamored and just loving it. They were all like, oh, he's a cute little old lady. And after intermission, he came out with little Susie Snowflake and is carrying this tray around, like having the audience like try to take hits off of the tray. And they're like, this is the same person. Like, it was hilarious. It was one of my favorite shows we did down there.
Thank you. And I have to say that Susie Snowflake was not my idea either. Ruby Slippers came up with that idea. And I can't believe that Ruby would come up with that kind of an idea, but Susie Snowflake.
I remember the first time you sang, we did We Need a Little Christmas. You, Mike, and I at your piano when you lived up in the avenues, and his whole Christmas tree was nothing but Muppets.
And I just
Muppets. That's the night Tab Hunter was in town.
Oh!
So our best friend Binky, who played Yenta in Fiddler on the Roof, was on a mission at that time. So we recorded this CD with us. He sang as Carol Channing, Carol at the Steinway. I was Ethel Merman and Mike was Lucille Ball.
Barry and I met in 1979, and he used to tell me stories about Tab Hunter coming into this restaurant, and I thought, just another story.
That's when
just
I worked
another
at the Tiffin
story.
Room.
Anyway, I met Tab Hunter in Tahoe, and I said, "Did you ever go to Utah, to Draper, Nevada, or Draper, Utah?" And he said, "Yes, I had friends there. They had horses, and we used to go riding all the time. Some of my best friends." And Barry was not telling me stories. I just checked up on Barry because I thought, what a weird.
Well, he was allegedly supposed to be at the party next door the night we were recording that video.
I have 2 other books up here. Did that quit working? No.
There's no audio.
All right, it worked at my place, but otherwise.
Okay.
Anyway, these are 2 other books of just photos of my career, people I've met, places I've been to, and the other one's more Salt Lake people. So if you want to look at those, you're welcome to.
Well, we're going to end right now, so if you want to just leave them up here and people can, if they want to thumb through them. And
again, I want to say thank you for coming tonight. I wasn't sure what to expect. I planned, but I didn't plan. And I thought those that need to be there will be there, and what happens will be for the best. Good to see Courtney here. Another campy drag. Sort of, kinda. And Mark, one of my tin men.
Toot.
Anyway, thank you, everyone. And
big round of applause. Thank you, Walter. And really quickly, but there's going to be a holiday market here.
Yes, there is.
December 7th, Saturday. When does it start in the morning?
10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
10 to 6. Rumor has it that Father Yule, who looks something like me, will be here that afternoon from 1 to 4. And we're going to do, so you can come and get a free photograph with Father Yule, And we also are doing a toy drive for that. So if you want to come, please bring a toy unwrapped, and we'll have a place that you can deposit that, and then that will get to needy children here in the Valley. And so please come to that.
We need shoppers.
We need shoppers.
Yeah.
So make sure you come, bring lots of money too. And then our next oratory is Wednesday, December 18th with Becky. I'm going to let you introduce Carol and Andrea.
Oh,
Because I don't know them that well, or I don't remember them that well.
Coral, not
Coral, I'm sorry, Coral
Those
Mingus.
of you who came to the Dr. Patty Reagan, when she got up and did the speech and she talked about coral, and the night when her sexuality class at the University of Utah, that somebody was the presenter of the vagina, that's coral. And you're going to laugh your butts off. So Coral and Andrea will be here next for December to tell their oratories, but I promise Coral will not get up and show what she showed at Patty's.
No public cervix announcements.
But seriously, you do want to be there at least one time. Also, Coral was the greatest fast pitcher in Utah, as far as I'm concerned.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Drive safely.
Hold on. If
yeah.
anyone in this room is interested in joining the Utah Queer Historical Society,
thank you.
You're welcome. This is why I'm the secretary. If anybody's interested in joining the Utah Queer Historical Society, we meet on the third Sunday of every month. We have plenty of opening, we have plenty of opportunity, and we really want to get... So right now we have 3 cisgendered males that showed up to last Sunday. I'd like to see more diversity in that. And so if we can diversify our community, our small community, so that we can get the stories of our larger community pouring in, we are in desperate need of that. So please come and join us.
Thank you. Gab.
So on Saturday night, this coming Saturday night, we have a SAGE event, but it is open to any age, so you can bring kids, you can bring grandkids, whatever you want, and it is a holiday sing-along. It starts at 6:30, and this year we're doing it a little bit different. We're doing karaoke sing-along, so you can be up there singing karaoke, and we'll have holiday words up on, we'll put it up on the TV, but the crowd will sing with you. So if you love karaoke but you're scared to death of it, this is your event. So please come
What
and
is
sing.
that again?
It's Saturday night, this coming Saturday night from 6:30 to 9:30.
Awesome.
And we'll have like snacks and hot chocolate and stuff. It'll be very cute.
And leave your donations in the fishbowl, please. Thank you.
You're coming.
Drive safely.
It's singing.